This is the location of a former National Socialist prison camp, although it might not look like it today. Today, it is used as a building by the Polish Coast Guard. However, this was the Neufahrwasser civilian prison camp, and around 10,000 Poles passed through here in the first months of World War II. The camp was set up in 1939 in barrack buildings in Neufahrwasser, a district of what is today Nowy Port in the Polish city of Gdańsk. The barracks in Neufahrwasser was the headquarters of all civilian prison camps for the annexed Danzig Free State and the Polish corridor from the 7th of September 1939 to the 31st of March 1940. It was commanded by SS-Obersturmbannfuhrer Max Pauly. The Stutthof concentration camp later emerged from it. These buildings were constructed in 1883 to 1885 to be military barracks. Following the defeat of Germany, the regiment that was using them was demobilized on the 16th of December 1918. The 128th Volunteer Infantry Regiment was created and located here in the spring of 1919. In June 1919, parts of the newly formed Infantry Regiment 34 of the Provisional Reichswehr used the barracks. However, this land was lost to Germany. As a result of the Versailles Treaty, in 1920 Danzig became a free city and was demilitarized. From March 1922, ownership of the barracks was transferred to the Polish state. The buildings took on a new form. Apartments and a primary school were set up here for Polish citizens who worked at extraterritorial institutions such as the Polish post office or in the port. Facilities also included a gymnasium, Boy Scout lodging and a chapel. With the invasion of Poland on the 1st of September 1939, mass arrests began in the free city of Danzig. About 1,500 people were arrested on the first day of war. About 1,000 were taken to the Victoria School civil prison camp in Gdańsk, others to the prison, and from the 2nd of September 1939, 150 people were taken to what was to be the Stutthof civil prison camp, later Stutthof concentration camp. Their job was to build the camp. The victims of the arrests were mostly Poles who had been active in the life of the small state, including teachers, doctors, priests, members of Polish organizations in Gdańsk, and those that had worked in the Polish post office and the port of Gdańsk. The National Socialist in Danzig had been compiling lists of undesirable Polish elements since 1939. The building complex in Neufahrwasser was surrounded by the police, SS and SA in the early hours of the 1st of September 1939. Those inside were arrested and brought to the Victoria School, which was being used as a temporary detention facility for Poles in the Free City. From the 7th to 15th of September 1939, prisoners were taken from the Victoria School to Neufahrwasser as well as to other camps. The Victoria School camp was dissolved on the 15th of September 1939, whilst the former barracks were now made into a prison. The SS-Obersturmbannfuhrer was responsible for guarding the prisoners. This was a police unit created by the Nazi-controlled authorities in the free city of Danzig in the summer of 1939. Heinrich Himmler, during a secret visit to the city, considered the existing forces to be too weak, and as a result, in July 1939, the 1,500-strong SS Heimwehr Danzig formation was created, partly composed of SS men illegally transferred to Danzig from the territory of the Reich. However, these forces were still considered insufficient, and therefore, by order of the Senate of the Free City of Danzig of the 3rd of July 1939, another unit was established, headed by SS-Obersturmbannfuhrer Kurt Eimann, the former commander of the 36th SS Regiment, whose subordinates formed the core of the new unit. As was common at the time, the unit took the name of its commander. The cost of its maintenance equipment were borne by the Danzig police from the sums allocated by the Reich Ministry of Finance to the authorities of the Free City of Danzig. Organizationally, The SS Wachsturmbahn was subordinate directly to the authorities of the Senate of the Free City of Danzig and to the police president Helmut Freibus. After the outbreak of war and the annexation of the Free City into the Reich, Gauleiter Albert Foster and the police chief of the Schutzpolizei in Danzig were in charge. Before the fighting broke out, the SS Wachsturmbahn served as a police auxiliary battalion. At the end of August 1939, the unit had around 550 people divided into 5 companies, including 1 motorized. In overall command was SS-Obersturmbannfuhrer Max Pauly. He was then the commander of the 71st SS Regiment in Danzig. He was later to be the commander of the Stutthof and Neuengamme concentration camps. For the moment, he was at Neufahrwasser overseeing the imprisonment of Polish people who had lived in the Polish corridor and the Free City of Danzig, whilst commandant at Neufahrwasser was SS Hauptsturmführer Franz Christoffel. This newsreel shows the Westerplatte, a peninsula at the mouth of the dead Vistula River, territory leased by Poland in the Free City and used to import weapons. This facility had been granted during the war between Poland and what was to become the Soviet Union in 1920. The Westerplatte was one of the first places to be attacked in World War II. The battle went on for 7 days. As might be expected, after the battle, the location was in ruins. Prisoners were ordered to clear up the mess. Initially it was slave labour from Neufahrwasser. Later prisoners from the concentration camp at Stutthof were used. The camp housed not only Poles from Gdańsk but from various places in Pomerania where the Nazis sought to extirpate not only the Polish-speaking population but also their culture. Around 10,000 Poles passed through the camp in transit to other places. There were, as a rule, around 3,000 prisoners here at any one time. Prisoners were moved out to what was to become the Stutthof concentration camp and its sub-camps. The camp administration under Max Pauly was also relocated to Stutthof when the camp was dissolved in March 1940. Franz Christoffel went with Pauly to Stutthof, where he became his deputy. Other prisoners were taken from here to this place, Pierznica Wielka, and there they were murdered by shooting. Pauly was executed in 1946 for crimes committed at Neuengamme. Christoffel died in 1965, whilst under investigation by German authorities, but before he could be brought to trial.